David is basically the real life Jerry Maguire. It's so fun to talk to Dave Meltzer. As you'll see, it is one of those conversations I think that it feels like you're kind of getting a pep talk from someone who's been in the shoes and who really, really cares. He's one of those people that I would legitimately tell you he gives a shit. And that's a cool thing about him. And in this conversation, we get to go into kind of that mindset about getting advice. I think, one of the things that I loved about David's comments in this conversation is he said, just because your parents love you doesn't mean they give you great career or life advice. And so remember to find the right people to surround yourself with, especially when you're pursuing a creative project. I think sometimes we listen to people who are concerned but don't know versus finding those experts along the way. The second thing to really know from this conversation is that there are a set of things, especially to navigate in today's world, things like gratitude, forgiveness, love, all those things that will help you. And they're those sort of skills that we oftentimes call the soft skills. But as David points out, those are the things that you really want to incorporate into your plan. You want to use this process, this program, to reconnect with yourself behind it. And the last thing, and I think this is the thing for any author to remember, is that play the long game. If you're writing a book, it's not just because you want to write that book. It's because you want to write lots of books over time that people are moved by. It's because you want to also help people do coaching with you in workshops. It's because you want to involve them in other events. Play the long game. Think about this as one step in a much longer game you're playing. And if you do that, not only will your book be better, not only will your project be better, but you'll build an audience to support you in whatever you do. Again, David is an amazing force of nature. I love talking to him. And remember, if you want to hear from more modern authors like David, be sure that you subscribe. That way you can get these delivered to you, and we will make sure to help you learn and collaborate and build community so that you don't feel like you're ever writing alone.
I'm going to use the mathematical equation of luck. I'm going to pay attention to and give intention to what I think, say, do, believe, and my own genetics, personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions in order to effectuate what I want, those coincidences. So that mathematical equation of luck, and I do that through, number one, gratitude. The easiest way to change your life is to say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. 30 straight days, it becomes a neural pathway, it becomes a subconscious thought. It'll affect you and change you more than anything else.
Talk about what you found as why it's so important for people in this world to stand out, to sort of be value givers, not just value takers.
Yeah, I think understanding value as what is so important. And most importantly, taking inventory of values is essential. Seeking, finding the light, the love, and the lessons is finding the value in anything. So I have people take inventory not only in an opportunity, but most importantly in themselves. Taking inventory of your personal values, your experiential values, your giving values. Do you know anyone that can help me? But I think value itself is a process. A suffering is the process of finding value, and you can't find it unless you're more interested than interesting, unless you equate a weighted balance of personal, experiential giving and receiving values themselves. And then beyond finding the value, now you have to organize it because we feel so separate. The tree has no branches. If we truly believed everybody was a sponsor, a power sponsor of ours, that we were all connected, that one branch would not go to war against another branch, if we truly believe that, which I do, then we would look upon everyone as a sponsor or a power sponsor, not a gatekeeper, not as resistance, voids, and shortages to what I want. And so I've taken that perspective by asking almost everyone I meet in person, on the phone, via email, and social media, do you know anyone that can help me? But regardless, my career journey, to finish up so I can answer more questions, I ended up taking a job selling legal research online. 9 months out of law school, I was a millionaire. Went up to the Silk. We sold in 1995 for $3.4 billion with a B. There wasn't many billion-dollar companies in 95. Went to the Silicon Valley, raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Always keeping my options open, always being more interested than interesting, always learning, always asking for help. I was a victim as a child, born with nothing in a world of not enough. Everything happened to me. I would say, why me? Why do they have this? Then I became a millionaire and a multimillionaire, and I lived in a world that was for me.
Right.
I was very generous. I gave tons of money. I believe the more you give, the more you receive. And then I shifted that paradigm, and it started when I was 30 to starting to understand that, gosh, I'm buying a lot of things I don't need. I'm buying a lot of different things when I'm not happy, or more things when I'm not happy. I'm buying things to impress people. I'm buying things to impress people I don't even like. And that world of just enough, that world of just enough, quickly by 2006, became a world of more than enough. I ended up surrounding myself with the wrong people, the wrong ideas. I left Samsung, became CEO of the world's most notable sports agency in the world, like you noted, Lee Steinberg. They made the movie Jerry Maguire about my firm. And then 11 years ago, I spun off a marketing company with Warren Moon. In the last 4 years, I built my own brand the way I built the biggest brands in sports and entertainment for myself, proving that you could build a community off of an idea to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. I'm looking for 1,000 people like Eric who will empower 1,000 people in his life to empower over 1,000 people, simply to create a collective consciousness of happiness. Happy people, they don't attack other people. They live in a world of abundance. They do good deeds. They're kind. They have good character. Happy people will create an abundant world where there's more than enough of everything for everyone. If I can approach that 1 billion person mark, we're going to have a true collective consciousness that one little particle of darkness, of light, overcomes millions of particles of darkness. But even moreover, happiness is a virus.
Right.
My favorite part about happiness is the only virus that's spread by witnessing it. And it strengthens everybody that witnesses it. It strengthens you mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Happiness will strengthen everyone with its abundant truth that it carries. And more importantly, it'll strengthen your immune system. So it protects you against negativity and disease. So I am on a mission to empower over 1,000 people, to empower over 1,000, to empower 1,000 to be happy. And through my journey, I've learned the lessons of money. Money does not buy love or happiness, but it does allow you to shop. And if you shop for the right things, not the things you don't need to impress people you don't like, but the right things, I promise you, you'll be happy. Make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Receive so you can give. Don't give to receive. Gratitude is the most powerful thing. Learn to love what you do. The same percentage of your life sucks that everyone else sucks. It's those people that can find the light, the love, and the lessons in the suck that end up being happy and gracious in what they do by finding that suffering, the process of finding light, love, and lessons. 2, forgiveness. In order to learn all those things, I had to make a ton of mistakes. And if you're going to make mistakes, you better forgive yourself, because you can't forgive other people because you can't give what you don't have. Yeah. And so I've learned not to make mistakes twice, but to forgive myself when I do, knowing that it's part of the process of suffering and pain to learn, grow, accelerate, exponentially grow, or even compound the interest in my life so that I can take on more within the context of productivity, how much value am I providing, accessibility, how accessible am I to others, and how am I accessing what I want. And of course, keying back to gratitude to have the right perspective, to find the light, the love, and the lessons in those mistakes, to forgive myself. Then 3rd is accountability. Most people, especially today, they lack control. They're trying to find outside of themselves what exists inside them. You can't find outside of you what doesn't exist inside of you. Accountability is the control of that. Accountability tells you, number 1, what did I do to attract this to my life? And 2, what am I supposed to learn from it? So if you live with that gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, you can have an inspired life. Motivation is not inspiration. Motivation, fear can motivate you. It'll suck your soul, tear out your energy, but it will motivate you. Possibilities become your probabilities. Your probabilities become your perspective. With these values, gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, consistency strengthens your signal. The strength of the signal says not how far it reaches today, but how strong the signal is to affect you. The coolest thing is only the 1% of the 1% get to experience what I'm experiencing now in my life, which is 100% turns to 200, 200 to 400, right. 400 to 800.
Yep.
And that's because of consistency. Practice, 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 because that's what clarifies, focuses, and balances you. The more we practice, the more we get indicators that we have lessons to learn. The more suffering that we have, we enter the process of finding those light, love, and lessons. In overall, if you look at the strength of your signal, the spectrum, and the clarity of your message, the coolest thing is that you actually can get this philosophy of, hey, I'm at the right place at the perfect time. But I'm going to consistently, persistently pursue my potential, and I'm going to angle to what I want. But more importantly, have faith that I'm going to not get what I want. If I'm going to write a book, I'm not writing it to make money. I'm not writing it to get the biggest publisher. I want to get it in as many hands as I can because I want to impact as many people. The money always comes. I gave away Connected to Goodness is my first book. I sold more books than ever in 2020. I gave away 20,000 books. You will not see an interview where I don't tell people, you want my book for free, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I will sign it. I will pay for shipping. I will send it to you. And that's how you share your ideas. You impact more people and you make more money by utilizing the law of expansion, acceleration, growth, and vacuum in order to put your ideas into reality. You haven't seen my podcast. It's called The Playbook, but it has celebrities, athletes, entertainers, millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, the greatest names. I mean, Dan Aykroyd, Cameron Diaz, Gary V, Ed Milet, you name it. I got the best. Hall of Fame football, baseball, hockey players. Anyway, I started, with that. And now Fridays, it's my number one downloaded podcast is my training. That's cool. And over 20,000 people register every Friday to come. Nobody wanted my first book.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I'll tell you how much I still have the title of my first book, which is the best title. And I'm going to give it out there because I'm abundant. But my best title of a book is Don't Do Business with Dicks. And that's going to be my next book, whatever it takes. And it's the best title I've ever thought of, though. And I know that because as I was writing it, I've been on planes and people see the name and they're like, where can I buy that? Like, you don't even know what it's about. I love the name. Can't find inside of you what you want outside of you. And so when you're going through that process, find your frequency. Find all the things you want other people to see, find it within yourself. What resonates with you? What's meaningful for you? What's impact? It's like the pimple popper lady, right? Like, that's not meaningful for me. It does not resonate with me. It does not excite me, but it does her. Like, she thinks it's super cool and interesting and all. And guess what? Millions and millions of people do so as well. So look within you, learn to love you and people. You can't literally give. If you are love, people will love you.
Amazing.